The words are actually more important than the how to do it. In fact, the how to do it on this worksheet, I could right now explain how to do the back so you can get every right answer in 2.2 seconds. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to explain to you what we're looking for and what the point is. Yes, ma'am.
When you say words, does that mean like notes we're taking or things that we're not writing down?
You're listening. Well, okay. And I'm going to ask you in English to write down your own definition of this, but I need you to listen. And if you're not understanding what I say, you need to go again and again until we get it. Okay? Because the math, the algebra part of this is easy. The what it is I'm talking about is really weird. Not hard, but weird. Okay? And the real question you should ask yourself when we get done with this is, why am I making this big deal about this thing that seems just kind of weird thing? That I'm not even going to answer for another 3 or 4 worksheets. So the problem is I've got to explain something to you, let you play with it a little bit before I can tell you why you need it. Okay? So here we go. The limit of a function is a number the function approaches at, that's not even right. The limit of a function is a number the function approaches, that should be as x approaches a tested constant. As x approaches a tested constant. It's what the function approaches as I approach some value of x. Now, you guys like parabolas. Let me do a parabola. Okay, here's 1, 1, here's 2, 2. I got a really weird scale. Oh, 2, 4. Whoops. 2, 4. Got it. Fair enough? Parabola. You know parabolas? Okay. Mr. Resendez. As I'm sliding along my function towards 1, what value of y am I approaching? What value of function? 1. As I'm sliding towards 2, what is the function approaching?
3. Wait.
Parabola.
Is it 2, 4?
Would it be 2, 4? 2, 4.
Oh, okay.
It's a parabola, right? You do 2, 4 will be the next point. Oh, sorry. As I approach 2, what am I approaching?
4.
Okay, so as I approach the value, we would say the limit as x approaches 1. Oh, I should write it better for the first time. Nobody writes it this nice after today, but we'll write it really nice today. Limit as x approaches 1 of x squared is, what are we approaching? We're approaching, as I approach the x value of 1, what's my function approaching? 1. My limit as x approaches 2 for x squared, as I approach the x value for 2, what am I approaching? 4. Now, it's important that it approach from both sides of the same number, which should lead to a question, why would that ever not happen? But not worry about it. It's important to approach from both sides. Agreed?
So you're supposed to...
So in other words, going this way should also hit 1. Right? It doesn't matter which direction I'm approaching 1 from, I need to get the same answer, so therefore it's 1. Does that make sense? Okay. So you might be thinking, Mr. Resney, why don't I just, no? What are you approaching? Okay? Now, I'm going to emphasize that point by making your lives miserable. Here's what I want you to do. I want you, for the function, I got the limit as x approaches 3 of 2x minus 1. I would like you to plug in values getting closer and closer to 3. Please. And in fact, does anyone remember what the table function is on your calculator? Because I taught it to you last year for this very moment.
What do you mean table function?
Then don't use it.
No, I need it. It's so easier. That's not here to tell me anything.
That's not tell you how to use your calculator. You're going to have real troubles this year. Because I don't know how to use your calculator either. So, the table function for the Casio, you simply do what? You hit menu, you go to table, you type in this function, and then I want you to plug in a 2, and then I want you to plug in a 2.9 and 2.99. On the TI, how do you get the table? You're going to go y equals, like you're going to graph it. You're going to write 2x minus 1. You're going to hit second function graph, and it'll make a table appear. And then you can plug in values to see what the y values are. Or you can go old school, and when I plug in a 2, I get out a 3. When I plug in a 2.9, I get a 4.8. When I plug in a 2.99, I get a 4.98. And so forth. I want you to do it as you approach from the left, which is the numbers 2 all the way up towards 3. And then I want you to approach from the right, starting at 4 and come down to 3. Fill in the whole table. I'll be around in a second.
Oh, this is.
How are we doing? 2x minus 1. Then you go to the second function, table,
Oh.
and then you're going to plug in. I want to know where it is at 2. So I'm plugging in 2. I'm going to hope your TI is being stubborn. Your TI is being stubborn. Your TI is being stubborn. It's a great calculator. So I'm going to have a table set. I'm going to say, you know what, calculator? I want to pick the numbers. Can you let me do that?
Yeah, how do I pick them?
And then you exit out of that, and then exit out of that. Switch. Okay. So now I'm going to go y equals.
How do you
I'm
do
gonna
it?
get second function table.
I have a table, but
Now
I
you can
can't
plug in a
fill
number
it
like 2.
in.
Hit enter, and it should give you the answer 3. All right.
Well, I have my table. I just can't fill my own numbers, so.
You can't fill in numbers. So you need to auto ask. Now, I don't know how to do that on your calculator because your calculator is like the worst kind of TI.
I'll find it.
Okay, so choose column. That might have been it.
I don't forget. I just know
What?
where it is.
Choose. Correct. Choose. Nope, it's not letting you do it.
I'm sure mine.
Here, table 7. That's it. No, go down to independent. You need to be ask. You're telling the calculator, I want to be able, you know, one second, don't worry about it. Just go, okay, you know. Okay, now you should be able to scroll to the left and pick numbers, and it should give you the answer. And then just hit enter.
Oh, great.
Okay. Woo, come in. Yes.
Dude.
Okay. Then go get one of the ugly ones from the back.
I need to learn how to do it.
All you're going to do is you're going to plug in 2.9. So you're going to go 2 times 2.9 minus 1.
I think that's how
You know, the table saves you like 4 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Epic amounts of time. You're just going to plug in 2.9. Plug in 2.9
I'm
now. Plug
scared.
in
And once
2.99.
I saw your snap of these things, I'm like, oh, I know.
So you're
So what
going
did they
to
even
do
do?
2 times
Nothing. It's not
2.9 minus 1. What is that?
This one is-
The table just makes it faster, but
Because
not
you just
much.
can't get one.
You're counting white. I don't want to write
Oh.
5.00002. Hey, now.
It's
The truth will set you free.
Whoa.
So the limit as x approaches 2 of 3x squared is 12. Done. Go ahead and do number 2. And what do I get, Pecorino? -1. This is easy. I love this. This calculus stuff is really, really hard. Try the next one. It doesn't say 3 on it. We'll call it 3. Yes, sir. What?
Wait, isn't it if you divide something by 0, it's 1?
Oh, that's close. That's close.
What happens when you divide something by 0? Miss Reed, help us out. What happens when you divide something by 0? Undefined. So everybody in the room should be writing the word undefined down, because you would get 12 over 0, which is undefined, but that's wrong. Uh-oh! Ruh-roh! Something different. Hold on. Limit's going to give us a different answer for the first time. Up until now, if you follow a function, it gets closer to the value it is. But this is a little different, because what is the definition of a limit, Mr. Botmal?
You can't go past it. I don't know.
It's what you're approaching, right? What number are you approaching? Okay? What is this function doing when you have a 12 over 0?
Oh, an asymptote, right?
It's an asymptote. Remember asymptotes? We did them. So at -2, this thing is doing this. Here's -2, right?
So,
What number are we approaching as I approach from the left? -infinity. What number am I approaching as I approach from the right? Okay, it has to be the same number in order for the limit to exist. Is it the same number? It does not exist. Great? Sorry. It doesn't have the same number. So it's undefined. Well, that's okay. We said undefined before. But that's not the way we phrase a limit. Because the limit is defined. It's defined as the limit does not exist. And you must write down the limit does not exist. The limit does not exist. Any other phrasing in AP Central will say you don't know what you're talking about. If you say don't exist,
So you can't say doesn't.
you can't, well, you might be able to get away with it doesn't. But the limit does not exist. Why does it exist? I actually have 3 reasons why it does not exist. 1, you said it's approaching infinity. Wait a second. Can you approach infinity?
yeah, it is.
Can you get closer to infinity?
Yeah.
Maybe, but infinity's the highest. You can't get to infinity, right?
You can get closer.
But you can't approach it. You can't get close enough to approach it. So therefore, AP Central would say, and would say this, and let me flip it on its head a little bit. Are you limited if you can get to infinity?
Yeah. If you could, yeah, you could limit it.
No, but I'm saying, if the limit is infinity, are you actually limited?
No. Oh,
No. So the limit does not exist because you go to infinity. The limit doesn't exist because you go to negative infinity. And the limit does not exist because you go to 2 different numbers. All 3 of those reasons, any one of those 3, is sufficient to say the limit does not exist. I'm not limited. Yes, ma'am.
Could you just say it's limitless, or would they not accept that?
They would mark that wrong. I have no idea what you're talking about. They would pretend not to understand what you're talking about. The limit does not exist. It's the only phrase they will accept. Do not get creative. These people have no sense of humor. They have less than no sense of humor. Okay? The people at AP Central, on the calculus test, if you write down anything than exactly what they want, they will take away points.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
what was the passing rate?
This is the first one. What?
What was
Last year
the
last year was terrible.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Last year was terrible. I don't know. It's like, what are you trying to do to them?
What?
The first one should be 16.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering if you're
Second one should be 27.
big.
Third one should be -1.
Negative what?
1.
Okay.
Oh, I'm recording again. No.